There's a game that came out a while ago that basically broke the internet because of how realistic it looked. And while that was pretty insane, it's even more crazy now because they just released an update that's not out yet, but the devlog for an update that looks incredible. This is a 14-minute long video that I'm excited to watch because if you haven't already heard of Bodycam, it's a FPS shooter that really flips its genre on its head and makes it probably the most, if not one of the most realistic FPS shooters that's out and that's ever been released in that matter. Just from this one screenshot, you would, if you were just scrolling past this on Instagram thinking this, you think this was an actual video of a body cam. You think this was actually something that someone went through, or this is like real. Okay, so this is pretty insane. It's pretty cool stuff. So without further ado, let's get in this and see what exactly we're working with here and just how crazy this is gonna be. Like the starting scene is that right there. Like that looked so real that if you were, okay, if I showed my grandparents this, they would be scarred because they would think this was real. Okay, that guy just got shot in the leg, fell over, and then eliminated. Okay, we'll say that.
Welcome everyone. Today, we're taking a look at part of what we've been building for our next update. Locked and Loaded, releasing September 2nd. And what you're about to see is over a year's worth of work. And in this...
Back it up. Look at this freeze frame.
Is over a year's
Look at
worth
this
of
freeze
work.
frame.
And in this devlog...
Son of... Okay, let me back it up a little bit.
Is over a year's worth of work.
Hit the pause button. This right here looks so realistic to me. I genuinely believe this is real. I think they're lying about the footage. Also, check out the hat, how it like glitches up the camera. You're welcome. I feel like I've literally been in this forest before. In Arkansas, during the winter, during the colder months, this is pretty much exactly how the forest looks. And it is uncanny how similar it looks. And I cannot wait to play this game because it looks absolutely ridiculous.
And in this devlog, we'll focus on animations, loadouts, UI, and gadgets. So let's get right into it.
Drones. Oh, sweet heavens. Whoever did the sound design for this game needs a raise immediately. That sound design of them reloading that scar right there. Oh,
so most
heavenly.
FPS games play animations the exact same way. Same reload, same timing, and it makes the same result no matter what's happening. But in real life, it just doesn't work like that. We asked ourselves a very simple question. What would your body actually feel in that situation? If you're calm, everything is under control. Your breathing is steady and your hands are really stable. But when things go wrong, when you're getting shot at, when you're injured, when you're just simply trying to stay alive, your hands, they start to shake. All of these elements together are here to make you feel the pressure your character is really going through.
The sound design. I haven't actually played Bodycam, or the version that's out right now, so I don't know a ton about what's in the game versus what's new. But what I'll say is this. From the videos I've watched of people playing it, the animations are already pretty good, pretty clean. This is a crazy upgrade, okay? That clicking noise, that guy, I think it was a Glock or something, him like sliding back the slide. Ooh. I don't know why. It makes my, it scratches my brain just right. Goodness gracious, this looks insane. All right, he's dead. Goodness.
And that pressure directly affects how you reload.
Look how
Reloading
good that
under
map
pressure
looks.
is completely different from reloading when you're safe. So we built two entirely different states, calm and stressed. Same weapon, different behavior. And we didn't stop there. Inside of each state, we created multiple variations.
That's so
Several
sick.
calm reloads, several stressed reloads, different timings, different movements. So it never feels repetitive. And this philosophy doesn't only apply to magazine reloads. It applies to every single weapon. Take a shotgun, even something as simple
is it only just me, or have I been wanting this from like Call of Duty and Modern Warfare, where every reload doesn't have to be the same animation? First off, Call of Duty, dead game, won't play it. Too much skill waste matchmaking, that game blows. But even when I used to play it, the same reloads, like unless it's a super satisfying reload, like the M1 Grand or something, there's no like it just becomes a part of your routine. Basically, you don't even notice it. At least I don't. You don't even think about, oh, what does that gun reload like? You know what I mean? You just think, oh, I have to reload before I die. But in this, if every little thing's a little different, there's calm reload and stress reloads, 6 of each. Is that what he just said? I think. Then that means that there's so much variation that you're almost always going to be noticing small things with a reload. And I like that stress system. You can't just swing somebody, blast their head off, and then expect your character to just be like, all right, good to go. Like, yeah, you're probably going to be a little shaken up. I'm shaken up watching a video. I'm a wuss.
Inserting a shell has multiple calm variations. Under pressure, those same movements become rushed with less precision and less control. The same goes for bolt-action rifles. Loading individual
oh my gosh, these animations are spectacular.
But again, under stress, your character can struggle with a round or fumble it before loading it. Even operating the bolt itself has several calm variations. Under pressure, your hand can slip on the bolt, you lose your grip, grab it again, and finally chamber the next round.
That's so sick. Oh, that scope looks so
The more
clean.
stressed you are, the more your weapon will reflect that. The revolver presented us with a very different challenge. Most games handle it the same way. Press reload,
see this?
dump every round.
Look how boring these reloads are.
And you're done. One animation, no matter how many rounds you fired.
Right.
So we decided to do it differently. Every possible reload has its own animation. Fire one shot, you replace one round. Fire 3, you replace 3.
That is so sick.
Empty the cylinder, and you're reloading all 8 rounds. Every single sequence has its own timing, its own movements, and its own duration. Because that's how a real revolver works. But it also changes the way you play, because now for the first time, reloading a revolver isn't the same decision all the time.
Yeah.
Replacing one round
You might
is
not,
much faster
you might
than
not want to
replacing
go all
8.
the way out.
So now, you better think before you reload.
I don't think there's any other game that's done this before. The finals, I was playing it last night. I was using the revolver. I can't remember if you revolve or if you reload one at a time or how it works. But to have a different animation, technically 2 because you're stressed and regular, for each bullet that you're reloading is crazy. That is so awesome. I think that most companies, maybe they lack the time to do these type of things, or just the creativity, or maybe the freedom. I don't know. But whoever is animating on this team needs a raise and perhaps a promotion. Okay, because these look spectacular. Kudos to you guys.
Every animation starts with a reference.
Here we go.
First, our creative director, Leo, records the movement in real life.
What is that?
That reference is then sent to Tap Brandon, who then recreates the motion and brings it to life through animation. And finally,
Nah, Brandon's so good. That's his name.
In-game result. This has taken weeks worth of work, sometimes more than a month for one single weapon.
Wow. Wow.
And even with all of that, we've added procedural positioning. Your weapon is never held exactly the same way, slightly higher, slightly lower, slightly off center. Every reload feels unique.
Wow. That is so clean. Oh my gosh, that is so clean. And your gun's never in the same position, so every time you spawn in, it's a little bit different. Nothing ever feels repetitive or like silly. and like there's no cosmic weapon camos, which don't get me wrong, okay? Love the camos in Call of Duty. I think they're great. But in a game like this, it's just refreshing to see a smaller team willing to take risks because they want to make their game better. I feel like that's such a rare thing to see nowadays. And the fact that this company, I don't know who the creators are of this game actually. I was gonna say the Bodycam team. The fact that they're willing to do something like this, it just talks about their character a lot. So just shout out to these guys. Shout out to them. My gosh.
Since the very beginning of Bodycam, and even before Bodycam existed, we've been obsessed with ragdolls. They've been one of the most advanced systems in the project and one of the most appreciated by the community. But despite everything we had built, we felt something was still missing. So for years, we experimented with different approaches, and most of them failed time and time again. And that's because balancing a body in real time is one of the most difficult challenges in procedural physics. The terrain, the slope, the velocity, the impacts, the damage, and the location of every bullet landing on the player matters. And after years of research and development, we finally found a solution. The stumbling system. A fully procedural self-balancing system with no animations, no scripted sequences, and the character dynamically tries to stay on his feet before collapsing. It only happens in situations where the body could still realistically react.
Oh my god.
Like after non-lethal gunshots, shrapnel impacts, knife wounds, or any trauma severe enough to affect the balance, but not severe enough to instantly incapacitate. Among all the technologies we've developed for Bodycam, this is probably the one we're most proud of. Because in a game filled with complex systems, the hardest thing we ever built was teaching a character how to put one foot in front of the other.
That's crazy. My gosh. Here we go.
Realism in Bodycam goes beyond animation.
This is what I'm excited for because these maps look so much better than anything else. I don't know if it's because the film, like the film style or like the texturing or like it makes it look like you're seeing it through a body cam and that's why it looks so real or what it is exactly. But when I watch people play this game, I literally think that it's a body cam video that I find on like Twitter or something that like you see of someone just getting blasted to smithereens. It's awful, by the way, but it's crazy to see the comparison. This is insane.
It's also about how your body exists inside of the game. In most FPS games, your arms are locked and rigged straight to the camera. So no matter where you look, everything follows. It's like your body just doesn't really exist. So we wanted to create something closer to real life. So we built what we call the true body system. Your body is fully simulated and your camera is no longer driving it. It's just your point of view, so that means you can look anywhere while your character keeps doing the action. And this changes gameplay entirely because now, if you want to check your magazine, you actually have to look at it. And if you don't, well, you'll simply miss it.
So okay, that's sick, by the way. If you look away while you're like checking your mag, you won't even see it. But I'm thinking about like in my perspective, right? If I'm looking down at my hands, if I'm fiddling with a gun or you know, reloading or whatever, that's about right. What I'm seeing on this camera is about right with what I see with my eyes. I see a little bit more of my arms, you know? Oh. I just slammed the desk and it fixed it. Shout out the desk. But anyways, that looks about right. That's pretty crazy. Let's go back to this true body thing. And I gotta say, I think it also might be like the fisheye lens kind of thing going on, where you can just see so much more. Like your FOV feels correct. It doesn't feel like you're locked into this rectangle. You know, like they were saying, the camera is mounted to the character or whatever, or mounted behind it, whatever. Yeah, this looks crazy good. This looks insane.
Called the true body system.
And that like bolt clear thing, that
your body's fully
slide
simulated
clear thing,
and your camera is no longer driving it. It's just your point of view, so that means you can look anywhere while your character keeps doing the action. That looks real. And this changes gameplay entirely because now, if you want to check your magazine, you actually have to look at it. And if you don't, well, you'll simply miss it. A big part of immersion comes from the fine, small details. So we studied real body cam footage based on how the camera moves when you walk, run, or suddenly change direction. We took these ideas and we rebuilt our entire camera system around it so it feels entirely physical.
Ooh, that little
Because
animation of him
Bodycam-
turning on his camera. Ooh, that's sweet right there. Yeah, and that running looks good.
The camera's not just your point of view, it's a real object attached to your character. So when you respawn, your character turns it on,
That's so
and
cool.
when you leave, he turns it off. And during gameplay,
Ooh, the
like
muffled
heavy impacts,
sound.
sudden movements, or intense situations, your character can naturally readjust the camera to make sure it keeps recording properly. When a flash
The audio is so good. Did you hear when he grabs the camera? It sounds like someone grabbing up like the mic on the side of the camera. That's insane.
bang goes off or an explosion happens nearby, your character instinctively protects his face. And that same
cool.
exact logic applies to the weapon. Your hands are never completely still, so after firing, your character readjusts his grip. The more unstable the weapon is, the more adjustments happen. And under extreme stress, after long firing sequences, these small adjustments can turn into real hand fatigue. And that same idea extends to your weapon setup because stability depends on your loadout.
Okay, the hand fatigue stuff. I wonder how long, like, is the stress system based off of like proximity to players, how long you've been in a fight for, shooting, explosions? What kind of like triggers that? Because how long do you have to be in a fight before your guy starts giving up on his hand? Because in real life, I mean, I feel like you'd last like 10 to 15 minutes, right? Before your hand gives out. And that's of like constant fighting with no downtime. So I wonder how that system works. Maybe they'll explain it. I don't know. Let's see. Loadouts. Oh my god, look at
That's
that.
where weapon customization comes in. You can now modify almost every single part of your weapon. I'm talking about barrels, stocks, grips, magazines. Some parts unlock others. You want a sight on your AK? You need a rail first, just like in real life.
RIP Call of Duty.
And every part affects how your weapon behaves. A compact weapon is fast, but harder to control.
Draco!
A heavier weapon is slower, but more stable. You can even change how you aim. Use your main sight or switch to a secondary one on the side.
Wow, that looks
Or
good.
aim completely without optics.
That'll be me.
One of the biggest dilemmas in first-person shooters is how to achieve magnification in weapon optics. These days, almost every game relies on one of two techniques. The first and most common is simply by zooming the player's camera.
Right?
It's fast and extremely performant, but it's not at all how optics work in the real world. The second one, mostly used in tactical shooters, is a picture-in-picture rendering. The game renders the entire world a second time from the optics point of view. This comes at a massive performance cost that can heavily reduce
Oh
frame
yeah,
rate,
it dropped it half.
make gaming feel much more rigid, and also cause bad quality optic view. That's why Bodycam originally didn't feature magnified scopes. Like many other studios, we believe that this performance trade-off was simply unavoidable. But Bodycam is built around realism, and we simply couldn't settle for a compromise. So after months of research, experimentation, and
Holy
optimization,
crap, that looks so good.
we finally found a solution. We found a way to extend
Is this the guy from Fern? Who's voice acting right now? Goodness, this got me relaxed.
Unreal Engine's rendering pipeline and create a new shading technique that delivers the realism of true picture-in-picture scopes at a massively reduced performance cost and crystal clear quality inside the lens.
Wow,
Combine
that
all
does
of
look
that
good.
with the work of our new advanced optic shader,
Oh.
featuring realistic glass,
Look at
radical
that
distortions, reflections, and dynamic lighting. Bodycam's optics are now closer than ever to their real-world counterparts. Again, pushing the limits of how realistic a game can truly be. And now, you're no longer stuck with random weapons. You can
Nice.
choose everything.
I do know that was a complaint of the last game, is that I think every time you spawned in, it just gave you a random weapon. So loadouts are great, and I didn't realize how much went into the scoping stuff. You know, I played most of the games I played just had like the standard zoom, but I think it was, what was it? The Escape from Tarkov free version, practically. I don't remember what it's called. I think that game had the scopes that were like that, but I guess at the performance cost. I don't realize how hard that was. That's good to know though. So this team just just casually builds their own systems that look better than every other game, and then just releases it with the update that comes out in 7 days.
And create as
Wow.
many loadouts as you want. Each one built
Uzi.
exactly for your own play
It's like a
style.
little, what is that?
This update is
Ooh, a little
also
skin?
expanding Bodycam's arsenal. Because alongside the new loadout system, we're introducing a wide range of new weapons.
That's so
From the
sweet.
compact SG9X to the Viper.
Viper. I just always call it the Vector.
The R12 automatic shotgun,
That's gonna be fun to fight. Oh, that's gonna be fun to
the
fight.
Remington 700 bolt-action sniper,
Little sniper?
the Draco, the CR75 pistol,
Just call me
and an
Draco.
expanded selection of grenade. And it's not just about weapons. You also have gadgets, like RC cars.
Cars.
They're fast, small. Use them to scout, distract, send them straight into your enemies. And now, drones. But no, I'm not talking about arcadey drones you see in other.
Here's the crazy part, right? And honestly, the sad part is that these things are real. Okay, this is based off of real life. Because you imagine being in a trench, okay, with your buddy, trying to survive as a fast little drone. Why is that you with a bomb strapped to it? This is gonna be terrifying. Okay, you think that like Phasmophobia is scary? Okay, or Five Nights at Freddy's is scary. This is real horror. You gonna hear a little. You look around and you look behind you, and your friend gets blown up.
FPS games, we wanted something real.
Yeah, I mean, I'm done. I'm packing up and leaving. At that point, if I see that thing come at me barrel rolling, doing flips and tricks on it, nah, sign me out. Maybe you'd have your one buddy run a shotgun just to go anti-drones, because that's crazy. Oh my, yeah, look at that. Nah, nah, it's
So we
doing
built
tricks.
two ways to control them. A casual mode, it's simple, accessible, and very efficient for newer players. And then we also built an FPV mode based on real-world physics with real movement and real control. If you've never flown a drone before, you can now learn. But if you've already flown one in real life, you can do the same exact thing here. Same
We're dead, y'all. They're gonna start hiring these, like, like the competitive drone flyers have like the competitive racing drones. One of those guys gets on here, he's running the whole lobby. He's gonna smoke all of us. Okay, that's the scariest thing I've seen in this entire video. Oh heavens, no.
movement, same precision, same everything.
Yeah,
if
you
you're
can do
a real
front
drone
flips.
pilot, your team will need you on the battlefield because now drones are unpredictable. They're fast, dodge, they dive to come straight at you. You're no longer fighting a system, you're fighting a real pilot with killer intent. But we know some players might think that drones are too fast, too small, and too hard to hit, but that's not the case. We built a very precise hitbox system, so they're actually very easy
That's
to
gonna be
destroy.
so
One bullet,
scary.
and it's gone. It all comes down to reaction time.
No, that's
and
terrifying.
Who reacts first.
That's so scary.
And all of this happens inside of the game. No menus. We removed every single one of them. Everything is done directly on the tablet. You want to change your weapon and attachments? You open the tablet. You want to start a match? You open the tablet. Check the scoreboard.
Did I just see a karambit knife in there? Shout out Oni. That's actually insane. So what happens if you die though? Like, okay,
you open
look.
that sweet old tablet.
Okay, look. So you open this, right? Somebody swings you and puts you down like a dog. Do you just lose, or like do you have to respawn and then go back to the menu? Because that'd be annoying.
Everything keeps happening around you in real time.
I already know there's gonna be clips of people sneaking up behind people on their tablets, talking dirty in their ear, and then knifing them in the back of the head. I can't wait for it.
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you got a glimpse of our vision and the work behind it. This
Thank
is
you,
just
Fern.
one part of the update, and next week, I'll dive into our sound design. I'm talking about a full rework with gunshots.
Oh shit, I'm down. Oh yeah, bro.
That's so
footsteps,
insane.
and overall ambiance improvements. We have built everything to match a real body cam and the things they see and hear.
Those animations are
so more coming, and I'll be right here to tell you all about it. And until then, see you on the battlefield.
September 2nd, 2026. That's coming up, y'all. Wow, that's insane. That looks so promising. And the good thing is, because I'm a little bit late to this drop, we can watch the next part already. So let's see what this next one is. But already, like, the fact that there's 4 parts to these devlogs, right? There's the one we just watched. This is about audio. The next one's about a map, and the 4th one hasn't been released yet. The fact that all that was in the first devlog makes me super excited, because all that tells me is there's even more stuff coming. Okay, it might not be the craziest stuff ever, but like, if they just like add on top of that a little bit, I am so excited. If this company gets sold out to a large like Microsoft or something, I'm gonna be pissed, because that's where all good games go to die. Okay, when big companies come in and start buying people out because they see a product they can flip for more money, that's where games go to die. So hopefully these people just take the cash that they make from this drop, they live their lives well, and they keep updating the game. That's all we need. That's all we need, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see this here. Wow. Now, full transparency, I did watch this already on like a couple clips on TikTok and such. So I don't know exactly what's going to be different, but I didn't watch with headphones, and it says they recommend watch with headphones. So if you haven't watched it already, headphones on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Pause the video, put the headphones in, because let's listen to this together. Apparently, it's supposed to be insane. Wow, that's really cool. Locked and loaded. Devlog.
When Bodycam first launched to early access, one thing players immediately loved were the gunshots.
What was that, dude?
They already felt raw, violent, and powerful. But realism has always been our obsession. And we kept asking ourselves, what are games still missing? Most games try to make gunshots sound cinematic by bringing big bass, big punch, and a big Hollywood explosion to top that off. But real gunshots don't feel cinematic. They feel dangerous. Because in real life, a gunshot isn't just a sound, it's a shockwave. The air moves, the walls react, the ground vibrates. And the first time you hear a real weapon fired close to you, it's usually terrifying.
If you had a small filter over the base game, you would look just like this. And this is a real video. Ladies and gentlemen, how about that? Okay? This is insane. And he's correct on that. You know, I think a lot of games think about gunshots like just as another sound cue. And that is very true. But like, there's something about gunshots when you've been around them. And I haven't been around like an automatic machine gun. So I'm basing it off of like the smallest of the smallest, okay? It is a feeling. As much as it is a hearing, it's a feeling, if that makes any sense. And so I think that these devs are onto something with this realism. Is like, yeah, like if I'm in my house, right, and I hear a gunshot from downstairs, I'm going to feel it as much as I'm going to hear it. Like I'm gonna, unless my door's closed, I guess. But there's something about that shockwave that if my door's open right now and someone's downstairs and they shot a gun, right, it would 100% shake the floor below my feet. It would 100% rattle the walls. It would do all these things that go along with my brain hearing the gunshot to figure out what it is, or to figure out something's not right. Okay, let's just say that. And I don't think most games do that. Now, you know, a lot of games just turn on vibration on controller, and that's the way that they showcase that it has a shockwave or whatever. But like Siege, for example, the audio is so confusing sometimes. I want to see how they approach it compared to Siege, because that's my only other shooter.
So instead of making gunshots sound cooler, we wanted them to sound real. To achieve that, we built an entirely new system called organic reverb.
R.I.P. Siege.
This is a fully dynamic system that understands the environment around every single gunshot in real time. This system
What
understands
does that
room
mean?
size, ceiling height, openings in windows and corridors, how enclosed the space is, and how much air can escape it. Everything is analyzed dynamically to make every detonation physically react to its environment. Fire inside a tiny bathroom?
Very boomy.
And the pressure has nowhere to go. The base becomes overwhelming, the shockwave violently bounces around the room, and the entire space feels compressed. However, in a bigger room,
Yeah. Wow.
the sound breathes more, with longer tails, with more air, and with more space.
Wow.
But organic
Okay, I understand why they do this, and it sounds great. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like in a full lobby, it's gonna be too much. Like it's accurate, I suppose, but I feel like that's gonna be too much for players to focus on what's going on and be able to like separate that from what's going on the map. Especially like this is a inside of a warehouse. A gunshot in a warehouse would be so loud. In my old house, it was a metal shack. We shot actually for legal reasons. I'm not gonna say what we did. There was very loud noises in that house, and it was extra loud, louder than it would have been outside because there's just nowhere for those things to go. Okay, but I feel like in this game it might be too much. It might be a little overwhelming. Okay, so we'll have to see how that actually plays out when the game comes out. But right here in this clip, like there's one people shooting in the background, and it's so loud that I would have a hard time understanding what's going on. I would just be overwhelmed, which I guess that's what they want you to feel. So that's like right here.
But organic reverb didn't just allow us to change the gunshot itself. It also allowed us to simulate something almost no game does: shockwave propagation. Because
Wow,
in real
that sounds
life,
cool.
gunshots don't just stay inside rooms, they escape them. So thanks to organic reverb, we now understand how shockwaves travel through spaces. If somebody fires inside a corridor,
Ooh! You can literally hear it traveling from here out to here and goes over to our right. That is insane.
you don't only hear the gunshot,
You can almost follow it with your head. It's so
you
good.
hear the blast wave rushing through the corridor itself,
Ooh. It's like a
traveling
boom.
through the space, leaving the room, and reaching the player 100% naturally. And those interior shockwaves are not just realistic, they're gameplay information. Because now players can instinctively follow the pressure wave
Right.
to locate the shooter.
Right, that makes sense.
Almost like the environment itself guides you towards the gunfight. But organic reverb also allowed us to simulate exterior shockwaves. Because once that system understood openings dynamically, it can also understand how pressure escapes outside. So now when somebody fires next to an opening, you don't just hear the indoor gunshot.
Ooh.
You hear the air pressure violently escape outside into the
Wow.
world.
Boom. Boom.
And that's where we realize something really, really interesting. Because once that system understood the room itself, it also understands whether the gunshot should behave like an indoor or outdoor detonation. So now when you progressively move from outside to inside while firing, the gunshot smoothly evolves
Wow,
with the
that does
environment.
change a lot.
No sudden
I don't know. Is it just a free for all still? Let me know in the comment section below. Is this a free for all, or is it like TDM? Because if there's TDM and you can get like 3 of your boys and try to go up against 3 other guys or 4 other guys, that would be so much fun. You know, like you all are in game chat talking to each other. They're all in game chat talking to each other. You're trying to like give comms without telling them where you are, and you're trying to like clear the area. Get these crazy gunshots and crazy animations. It's gonna hit. Is it on console? I don't think so. But this is insane already. And one thing I got to say about this as well is I feel like games most of the time. Uh oh. forgot.
Audio switch, no artificial transition. We also took the opportunity to improve every other aspect of sound propagation in Bodycam. So gunshot occlusion has completely been reworked, so that when somebody fires behind a wall, the sound now behaves much more naturally. Voice communication has also received a major upgrade.
That sounds cool. The clips are gonna be so crazy on this game.
We also improved vertical
Somebody
audio
just yelling for
positioning,
help and then
meaning
going
it's
silent.
now much easier to understand if a player is above you
Yep.
or below you. Simply by opening
Hey
your
Apex,
ears.
take
And
notes.
because organic reverb affects every detonation in the game, grenades also adapt dynamically to their surroundings.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to cover in the mouth thing too, because if I get one, if I go like that too.
And honestly, guys, all of these systems combined together complete a completely different kind of chaos.
I imagine so. Ooh. Wow. The blurry faces make it look more realistic too. I think that's what it is.
But gunshots weren't the only sounds we revisited. Every improvement we made to environmental audio, we also applied to one of the most important sounds in the game, the player itself. So for this update, we completely rebuilt Bodycam's movement audio system from the ground up. And one of the biggest parts of the overhaul were footsteps. We completely rebuilt our entire footstep system from the ground up. We redesigned 38 different footstep surfaces, from wood and metal to snow, mud, concrete, and much, much more.
So they can do all of this in a year. But like COD can't add any like awesome features or release a good game in 5 years. I just have a hard time understanding these big companies, what they do the whole time. Like, do they just make skins the whole time? Which I hope that this game has really cool skins that are like tactical. You know, I played a lot of Ready or Not recently actually, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. But the thing I enjoyed about it most was like the realism. It's like, oh, this outfit looks sick because it's gonna work in this area, or like because it looks like a real military guy would actually wear it. It's actually kind of crazy. Ooh, that's good. That's a nice.
But we didn't just stop at different materials, because even a single surface can have multiple variations. Because the polished concrete inside a gymnasium doesn't sound anything like the destroyed floor of an abandoned warehouse.
True.
So instead of just creating one concrete sound, we created different variations from polished concrete, dusty concrete, damaged concrete,
Oh my gosh.
crippy sidewalk concrete, and concrete covered
Ooh,
in
that
dirt
little
and debris.
when he turned.
The same philosophy was applied across every single material, making every environment sound
That's gonna
as unique
sound
as it
so
looks.
good.
But what
Oh
happens
my
when you suddenly
gosh.
change direction? In real life, your shoes don't just hit the ground. They're constantly pivoting, gripping, and sliding across the surface.
Good
So we
snipe.
recreated those sliding sounds for all 38 surfaces. So let's go back to our concrete example. This is clean, polished concrete. Very smooth, very controlled. It's really sharp. Now compare it to heavily damaged, rough concrete.
I don't know how much I love the squeaking. I'll be honest. Maybe I'm a hater. I feel like if you're in army boots, which is what a lot of these guys are going to be in, do they squeak? I mean, based off of how much research this game does, I would imagine they do because of I trust them. But do they squeak? I've never worn boots before, so let me know. But yeah, I don't know if I do that much squeaking. Sounds good though. Sounds great though.
You can hear the gravel, the tiny
That
debris
sounds so
crushing
good.
under the shoe.
Yeah.
But honestly, even after all of that work, something still felt
snipe.
wrong. Because in real body cam footage, you never hear the world
He was dead.
directly. You hear the world through the camera. And once we started rebuilding the entire audio mix around that idea,
Look at this little
Bodycam
house right
started
here. This looks
sounding
crazy.
like raw footage. We recreated all the little artifacts real cameras constantly generate.
The wind.
When you run now, the impacts travel through the operator's body, into the chest rig, into the helmet, creating tiny shocks and vibrations inside the microphone, exactly like a real body cam.
Oh.
We also built a fully dynamic wind system
Okay.
directly inside
That
the
was
body
crazy.
cam's microphone. When you sharply rotate, the airflow dynamically changes direction inside the camera. Turn left, the wind hits the left microphone harder. Turn right, it shifts to the right.
Wow, that's so cool.
And when you move, the more aggressive it becomes.
Yeah, it's individual. Do not play this game in mono. If you do, I'm hunting you down, pooping in your mouth, and making you eat it.
And yes, inside a building, the wind is attenuated.
What does that mean?
Even interacting with the camera itself
That
completely
is-
changes the soundscape. When your character readjusts the body cam, the entire audio mix becomes muffled.
10 out of 10.
Exactly like a real camera. The audio overhaul didn't stop at movement. Our sound designers rebuilt every single reload from the ground up, giving each action more weight,
So
detail,
clean.
and authenticity. Recording and designing every click, every rattle, every impact, and every mechanical interaction by hand. While most modern shooters try to make audio sound like a movie, we're trying to make it sound real.
nade him. Nade him. Oh my gosh. Good aim. Dead. Good aim. This guy's locked in.
Not because realism is a feature, but because it's the only way to make you forget you're listening to a video game. That's the philosophy behind every sound inside Bodycam.
Ooh, a little nervous reload. That is so insane. All right, there's one more that's released. I think it just released today. And yeah, we gotta watch this. This is insane. Full Afghanistan war documentary. Jeez. Hey. Yeah, let's look at this here. That's absolutely insane. Why can I not scroll? My Google's breaking in real time. Okay. This is what trench warfare really looks like. I did watch this one already. It's not very long, only 3 minutes, but I had to watch it. I had to. I was so interested. Locked and loaded.
Over the last few years, trenches has once again become part of modern warfare. Not as something from the past, but as a reality of modern battlefields. And for months, we've been trying to understand them, not to recreate a specific conflict.
Like they just throw a video of their footage in there in between a couple, and it's hard to know what's what.
Reproduce political war. But this is to better understand what fighting in these environments actually means. How soldiers
I'm already
move,
seeing different
how they
skins.
adapt, and
That guy
how
was
to
wearing a black
survive.
outfit. This guy's wearing
But
a.
also how a battlefield slowly transforms around them. We studied hundreds of hours of footage, like drone recordings, satellite imagery, real trench networks. We also took the time to speak with veterans to better understand their experiences. For months,
That's
we studied
real.
every detail we could to recreate as closely as possible the reality of modern trench warfare.
And that's fake? You're telling me that's fake? Drone. Oh my gosh. That's lethal. That's lethal. That's lethal. That's lethal. You
So
got him.
today, we're
Oh
proud
my
to present to
gosh.
you trenches.
The power cords on the ground right there? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that looks crazy. Look at that.
Trenches is one of the largest.
Okay, here's I'm being serious when I ask this. Can people who were deployed play this game? Is this not gonna trigger like PTSD? It's like, if it was me, if I went over there and did like a tour or something, and I came back to America and I was going to play this would freak me out. Let me know in the comments section if you think that's a good idea. But that sounds crazy to me.
Maps that we've ever built for Bodycam. The map is divided into two different environments, and on one side we
That's
have a
real
dense
life.
forest area where most of the
That's out
vegetation
back.
is still preserved. And on the other, a completely devastated battlefield where
crazy.
explosions have destroyed most of the
It
environment.
reminds me of Battlefield 1. That's the game me and my brother always played. That was such a fun game. And that was like 2018, 15, 16. When did that game come out? It's old. That looked crazy. So this reminds me a lot of that game. I'm really excited for this map.
These two areas have
Yeah, I hate YouTube.
different visual identities. and
Wow,
offer
look
two
at
different
that.
ways to approach combat. They also act as natural landmarks, making it easier to understand where you are on the battlefield. And across the map, we have multiple trench networks.
No. What was he doing? What was he doing? He was
Ruined
playing
church
with
in
his
the center
Johnson.
with a large underground shelter.
Now that movement looks crazy.
Underground tunnels that directly connect to the trenches. Drone workshops built into the trench network.
Oh, you see that carbon fiber on that thing? Look at this carbon fiber.
Underground tunnels that directly connect to the trenches. Drone workshops
Look at the carbon fiber on this thing. Oh, the carbon fiber here too. Carbon fiber.
built into the trench
Carbon
network.
fiber.
And large open fields surrounding the combat zone. And the entire battlefield is surrounded by minefields. This is to keep
Great.
the boundaries of the map as realistic and dangerous as possible.
That's awesome.
For months, we studied modern trench warfare by analyzing it, rebuilding it, and pushing every single detail as far as we possibly could, all with one goal in mind, and that's to bring you as close as possible to the reality of modern trench warfare, to create an experience as immersive and as faithful as we possibly could
You're dead.
make it. But trenches is also a completely new way to experience Bodycam, new scale, new distances, and a battlefield unlike anything you've experienced in the game before. We can't wait for you to experience it, and until then, see you on the battlefield.
Wow, that is insane. I actually cannot believe how crazy good that looks. And I'm super excited for this. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comment section. If you're ready for this, if you think it's a knockoff or bad somehow, let me know your thoughts. But yeah, in my mind, this thing looks insane, and I can't wait to play it. It comes out on the 2nd of September. I'm not sure if there's 31 days this month or 30, but either way, it's either 7 or 8 days away. That looks insane. So yeah, that's gonna be crazy. I legitimately cannot wait for this. Now there's one more devlog you drop tomorrow, I think, or maybe next week. Devlog 4 to 4s. We'll see what happens then. But yeah, that's incredible.